Cool. Well, welcome, y'all. Thanks so much for coming out. We know it's the last day, and we're all sleep deprived and have been having wonderful weekends. This panel is all about bringing your idea, your event, your video game music thing to life. So, quick show of hands. How many of you would at some point like to just make your own event of some sort? Awesome. Great. How many of you would like to do something like music related? So like a concert, a jam, an open mic. Cool. What about something cosplay related? Costume contest, cosplay contest. Okay. What about dance party, meetup? Hey. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna try and cover a lot of things that would be helpful. I'm just gonna start off by showing you what our event is, and then we'll introduce ourselves and get into it. Yeah, so that's Smash Bros. Live. We do a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournament, and we, as the band, also play all of the music for it live. So, I'm gonna have everyone introduce themselves. I'll start, and then we'll just go down the line. And so we're gonna talk about not only what we play musically, but also just like what we do in the realm of putting together this event. So I'm Robin. I play flute, and I started Smash Bros. Live because I really wanted to play more music, and I'll get into more about sort of taking this idea from MAGFest last year and how we actually brought it to life. But let me introduce the crew. So Stan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stanley. Hola. Thank you, beautiful people, for coming out. Holy shiza hosen. Everyone looks super cool and sexy, and we're all good looking and like such an awesome group of people. So I am the MC for the Smash Bros. Live events that we do. So my role is to hype up you guys, get everyone involved in the tournament aspect of it, and also, just encourage people to make friends and all that good stuff. So while the tournament is going on, you will see me yapping. I'm sure you heard a bunch of random noises from the video. That is from your boy, yours truly, while we do our thing. And yes. Oh, and for some tunes, I play sax.
What's up? My name is Ezra. I'm a producer and keyboardist, and I make music under the name 3D Space Cadet, and I'm also the keyboardist/guitarist of Smash Bros. Live. I also help out by choosing prizes and doing media and stories on Instagram. Yeah.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for coming. My name is Hari, and my internet moniker is Bass Bow Wow. I play bass guitar, and I usually do like solo bass stuff, but I'm really happy that Robin brought me into the fold for this, because this has been a lot of fun learning all these video game tunes and playing live, engaging with crowds that both enjoy the video game and the experience of the VGM community. So for Smash Bros. Live, what I like to do is kind of capture the events and kind of edit different types of videos for both social media, like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. So later on, I'm just going to go into some of my strategies as to how to capture the components of the event and how to market it a little bit, just to make your event come to life on the socials.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Chris. My pronouns are they, them. I am the drum set and music director for Smash Bros. Live. Robin called me in after we met at, MAG briefly, and then eventually the New York Jams. And I offered to help with the music direction, and I've been loving every second of it. I'll be talking a little bit about what the role is and some of the strategies that you can use and speak to your music director about, if that is not you. about how to make your event come to life. That's the title.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Yeah. So we want this to be really practical. So by the end of today, hopefully you'll feel confident about your idea, learn from our successes and challenges, and actually have some tangible components to like either work that you can incorporate into your own events or get started on an event. So a year ago was my first MAGFest ever, and I had a blast. I was in the jam clinic next door a lot. And one of the sessions I went to was the Smash Bros. Ultimate live gameplay, where they just pulled up a random tune, did a 2.5-minute version of it, and everyone was set reading, and they were timing it and cycling players through. And I was like, this is such a cool event. This is such a cool idea. I want to make it happen. So I had been playing a lot of music with Hari and Ezra, and I was like, hey, do y'all want to learn 20 songs in like 3 months? And they were like, yeah, sure. And we had some really ambitious choices that we then nixed, like Meta Knight's Revenge, which we now do a year later. But essentially it started out as this little idea, and we put in a ton of work to making it happen really quickly. I found Chris at the VGM jams in New York. This has been an awesome community space where once a month they host a jam session, much like the jam clinic here. And they have a different house band every month, and it's a really great community because everyone's supportive and encouraging and loves music and games, much like the community here. And so as we've been thinking about this event and this idea, those things were what we really wanted to hold true to. So we started in April. I'll go through all of the different parts of the event and putting it all together. But yeah, so defining the event. When you're thinking about it, we have to start with, what is your event? Is it an open mic? Is it a jam session? Is it a listening party? Is it a tournament? Is it some combination of these things? So take a minute, get out your phone, and just write down the 1 or 2 primary things that you want to do for your event. And if you already know what that is, you're good. Yeah. And in our case with Smash Bros. Live, it's really 2 things. It's a tournament and it's a concert. So the next thing to think about is, who is it for? Is it for competitive gamers? Is it for casual gamers? Is it for people who just like video games? Is it for cosplayers? Is it musicians, spectators, singers, dancers, whoever? But knowing who you're making the event for is really helpful in putting together what it is and it isn't. So for us, one of the things that was really instrumental was thinking about making Smash Bros. Accessible to a big range of people, because there are the top tier competitive gamers, and then there's everyone else who has just fallen in love with this game or the music or any of the old Nintendo songs throughout their lives. And so we wanted to make it as open as possible. All right. So yeah, think about your audience. And then, once you have what your event is and who it's for, you really want to break down what success is for you and your audience. So in this case, we have 3 pillars. You're good. Our live music, our tournament, and just making it a fun event. So one of the things we did to make things more fun is we built the Zelda chest, where you open it up, it plays the Zelda sound, it glows. Thank you. Yeah. But the core for us, like, it doesn't matter. This really hones in on what we feel good about at the end of the day, making this thing happen, to have these components. So once we have the core of the event, we figure out what the audience is. So live music is for music lovers. It's for anyone who grew up with Nintendo. The tournament is for gamers. And the fun event part is for friends of gamers and people who just like cool things, like going out to events, like going out to parties. And from there, we then think about, we can then actually define what success is. So success for people who love music and grew up with Nintendo is probably hearing their favorite songs. Success for gamers are getting to play on a big screen and make new friends who are actually at their skill level. And success for friends of gamers is being part of something new, hanging out and feeling included, because you want to go out, you want to have a good time, and you want to get to know people. So take a moment, just choose one aspect of your event, define who that audience is, and just write down one idea for success. And does anyone want to share? You absolutely do not have to, but just opening up the floor in case. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, go for it.
Awesome. Getting non-VGM musicians to appreciate and learn the songs. This is a great example of where you might have two audiences, actually. One audience is VGM musicians who have discovered this world and understand how fun and cool it is, and then non-VGM musicians who might be trying to dip their feet in the water and get start learning all of this music and really get steeped into the community. And so it's always helpful to be able to think about both, and maybe you have an event that's more geared towards one month or 1 week, and an event that's more geared towards another, like an intro to VGM music, or going from classical etudes to Zelda songs, or vice versa. So awesome. Anyone else want to share? Yeah.
I was actually really excited to see this panel on the table, so thank you for everything you guys are doing. I'm based out of Jacksonville, Florida. I already kind of threw my own house like roots.
Sweet.
I'm a nerdy producer, DJ, and kind of wanted to, I feel like everybody does the anime rate thing. We're seeing them pop up everywhere. I wanted to focus more on the cosplay stuff. But me being a VGM, music person, but also I work with a lot of programmers and stuff like that. So one of the things that I've been kind of playing around in my head is I want to kind of do a nerdy music concert of multiple different genres, kind of a little bit of something for everybody, including games and stuff. But I think success for me is kind of making sure that I have a safe and fun space for our community to come up to and stuff like that. But also, my biggest thing that I strive to is I'd like to give artists that wouldn't necessarily have an opportunity to perform in front of people. That's very, very big
Mhm.
in New York, in New Jersey, in Philly, it was always like so cutthroat that like all the DJs are like, yeah, 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 you're my boy, we're friends, we'll do the thing, all right, cool. And then when it comes time for them to like pick the lineup and everything, it's the same group of friends
Mhm.
every single show, and I don't know, it made me upset. So I promised everyone else to go to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's a reason that a lot of us start events, and you know, it is one of those core MAGFest magic elements. Is we spend this whole weekend breaking down barriers, making new friends, like everyone getting a chance to hop in a gym, play on stage, like do their own thing and do whatever it is that is really core to them. And so one of the amazing things we can do coming back from this environment is bringing that out into the world and creating these spaces that are inclusive and welcoming and give folks a chance to show off their things. Awesome.
Just to get back to your point about like trying to create an opportunity for different new people to come into the fold and play, like you can have different scales of events. You know, you can have like larger events periodically, maybe once in 3 months, and then smaller feeder events that lead up to it. So like small open mics where it's a little bit more inclusive. Maybe people feel more comfortable to share for the first time in a smaller environment of just people that know each other kind of. And then you can encourage them to share first. And then maybe if they feel more comfortable, they can slowly work up to doing a slot in a bigger event. And maybe you can combine two of the things, like a dance component, and maybe leading up to it like a music jam.
Yeah. Awesome. So, all right. So now that we've started thinking about our idea, what it might look like, who the audience is, what success could be, it's time to choose your characters. And this is all about team building, because you can't pull off anything big by yourself. And it's really important to choose people that you enjoy working with and want to work with. So, in this case, I went through and identified the critical aspects of this event. So we knew it was music focused, so we wanted, I wanted a killer band. Love y'all. I knew that I needed someone else to MC, because if I am if I'm playing music and also like trying to make sure that nothing is catching on fire for our events, then I'm not going to be the one talking to the audience as we're trying to like fix wires or whatever. Hence finding Stan. The tournament was a big part of the event for us, and so having someone dedicated to running that, also Stan, was important to us, because we want that experience to be great for people who just show up to play. And we needed someone to check people in, make people feel welcome as they walk in the door, all of that, and have that be someone on our team who is consistent and that people can recognize, as opposed to that being part of the venue. So here's your exercise for figuring out who you need on your team. You take whatever it is you're working on, you make 3 columns, and do this now. Things I hate doing, things I don't mind, and things I love. So examples, like this is my personal example. So I hate doing social media and I hate doing graphic design. I don't mind doing pitch decks and working with databases, and I love playing music and building systems. And so just take a moment right now, think about all of the different things that go into your event and like write them out, and put them in one of these columns. Because when you start a new project, you're doing everything. Like, I hate doing social media, but I still have to do it because otherwise it doesn't happen until you get to build out your team and figure out what you really need. So take a moment, 3 columns, things you hate doing, things you don't mind, and things you love.
Count off over there. I saw multiple people bob their heads to the downbeat. That was awesome. We got trolled.
And
Okay, I'll just take another minute. You can always come back and fill this in more later. All right. So now that you have your list, circle or star the 5 things that are most important for your event. And so this will tell you where you need to find your teammates. Because if, for instance, I don't mind emceeing my own event, but it's really important and it would be really helpful to have someone dedicated to that so that I could focus on other things. I really enjoy coming up with arrangements, but Chris is an incredible band director, and we get so much more mileage out of having someone dedicated and brilliant at doing that than me trying to spread myself too thin and take on too many things. So the whole point of this exercise is to really focus on what's most important for your event and where your gaps are and what things that you need to do in order to have the support that you need so that you're not constantly running up against situations where you're trying to do 3 things at once. Awesome. Oh, question. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, great question. So the question was about finding that balance between where you're leveling up your own skills and where you're trying to find support from other folks. So I think the way I like to approach this is that it's really about focus and concentration. So in the short term, as you're thinking about an event, you want to things that are, you only have so much focus. You only have so many focus points. And so things that could be done much better by someone else are better to find that expertise for. And things that are really important for you to focus on personally are things to do yourself. So for instance, I have a really heavy technical background, and so I actually built our system for the event. And that's something that I can't outsource because I've invested so much into making this thing happen that it makes sense for me to do that. On the music end, going back to this idea of finding that external expertise, I've done a ton of music training, but it's something that's better for me to back off a little, be more collaborative with, and we're so much better for it.
And also, yeah. I want to speak to that as well. The focus points idea in particular, sometimes it's significantly less efficient to be working on something that you have interest in, but not necessarily passion in, right? So if you are super passionate about something, that probably fits in box 3, things that I love doing. The things I don't mind, if you want to take on a new project, you totally should, but it should never be to the detriment of the things that you love. So if you know that you're going to struggle, you have to also factor that into the schedule of making your event, right? You have to add some extra time for yourself. And if you don't have that extra time, there's only 24 hours in a day, and we have to sleep and eat at some point. So make sure that you're using that time wisely. And I would say as well, don't ever be afraid to ask for help from people, because there are so many people that are willing to give you aid in skills that they love, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're hiring them to get you to work your system for you, but it does mean that you're asking for help. And that will allow you to have a little bit more focus point to spare when it comes to actually doing the thing.
Absolutely.
I just have a quick point. When you're trying to find people with those different skill sets, I know it seems hard when you first start. You're like, do I just go and look for ads, or do I put an ad on Fiverr? But if you go to other events that are in your community, if you're lucky and you have those types of events, just be observant, look around, see what people are doing, follow their socials. And then if you have a skill set that you think would be useful to them, just offer help first, and maybe they'll help you, and you don't have to worry about the finances of hiring someone directly for that. Because the cost of a lot of these technical skills can add up over time. But you can start small and just make a few friends, help them out, they'll help you out, and then you might recruit them into your first event and start from there.
Question, definitely question. Kind of what you were saying. I want to know if you have advice for, I guess, for somebody who doesn't like to let go of control, because I find that that's kind of a problem. I didn't think I was one of those people, but totally am.
Yeah, I feel that like big time. At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? If I'm holding on to something white-knuckled, it should be for a very good reason, right? And sometimes it's very scary to let go because you've gotten very used to holding things white-knuckled. But you'll find that as soon as you let go, the drop that you're expecting is not nearly as far as it actually is. It appears much further. So I would suggest take a risk. Hear that instinct, hear that desire to want to have the control in the situation, and go, well, what if I don't? And get someone who you trust to help you and support you through that process, and you will be golden. I promise you, it's a lot less painful, and you will feel much more passionate about the things that you do like doing as soon as you do that.
I'd like to add also kind of to what the point Hari was talking about, where you meet other people. I met most of these people at like an open mic, and even for my own like projects and stuff, like I am such a like a hard ass with producing and like I want to do everything. And I realize if I want to do everything, it's going to take me 20 years. Yeah. So like when we collaborate, I have a band and I have people to work with, and I don't have to go off my laptop and press all the buttons and not even get to like look at the audience when like I'm performing. And so over time, like you get to know other people's skills and you teach each other like skills, and then like it's basically like they have your skills and you have their skills. So now you trust them enough to take a certain part of the project.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, keep the questions coming. We're going to keep going through as you think of things. I'm going to pass it over now to Stan to talk about hyping up the audience and creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere.
Hi everybody, I'm Stan. I think welcome to Smash Bros Live. I hope we're gonna have a good. Right? No one likes that. No one likes that. Right? Okay. That's very clear because in the MC world, and I appreciate Robin, asking for this. It is about managing energies in the room. So whether you're MCing your own event, whether you have someone to do it, I think that's a good way to think about it because you're managing your own energy. You're managing the energy of your colleagues, and mainly you're managing the energy of the audience. And as the MC, you're the one that sets those peaks and valleys because you're the one that's having the organizational aspect of keeping the event going, keeping the energy high by introducing it in a hype way. So as opposed to that, when we start Smash Bros. Live, we're like, welcome to Smash Bros. Live, everybody. And then you hear all the noises that are there in the background. And everyone's like, woo! Way cooler. But yes. That is the main point I want to bring up to you guys about point one. So any advice for anyone in any live performance setting is to center yourself before the storm. So something for me that I like to do are deep meditation, deep breathing that is meditative to me in order to like center my mind. So I will go like, so I am ready to smash. So that is my pre-show ritual. And we have done that 5 times, and I shared with Ezra earlier that that's what I do on the drive on the way to the venue. But all the LOL stuff aside, I do believe breathing for me has kind of helped in terms of all these folks are going to come, because I know nerves will touch anyone no matter in what performance setting you're in. So that's one of the ways that's one of the things that I do in order to manage that. Welcoming spectators and players with genuine gratitude. I think that's so huge and important, because if I'm a random dude and then I'm going to this person's event, it really means a lot if the folks greeting us take the time to ask us our names, what are your interests, what are you into, and we'll get into that. But just really showing that genuine appreciation, like you guys, we appreciate that you guys took the time out of the last day of MAGFest to come here, and and we try to we show that appreciation for everyone that comes to our events. Connecting with a shy guy or a shy gal. So this is advice for folks. One of the things when you go to an event, especially if you don't know people at first, it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, that sort of scenario. So I always try to ease tension, especially when people first come in. If you don't see them really interacting with someone hey, how did you hear about this event? In relation to Smash Bros for us, what's your favorite character? If it's someone that you don't know about, we're lifelong learners, and there's more than 72 characters in that franchise, so there's always something to learn, about someone. And hey, you never know what cool friend you meet. One of the things I think with shyness too about folks, it comes with a fear of being seen, a fear of being judged. So I think one of the cool things about an event that you have an idea for, if people are coming to it, it means they have an interest too in your subject matter, and that's something that you could share with people. And another thing with shy folks that I like to do is and just anyone in general, just support their courage. Tell them oh my gosh, thank you for signing up to the tournament, because you're now going to play in front of 80 people, and it's yeah. And to that point too, aside from all the nerve-wracking stuff, I think it's so important to also use just inclusive language and not pressure people into, hey, you came to the tournament, but it doesn't mean you have to sign up. Thank you for coming anyway. I hope you enjoy the music, that sort of scenario. And just really compliment the fact, thank you for coming out and thank you for doing your thing. And the last thing is to bring your authentic energy. So I'm a yapper, I'm a saxer, Filipinos in the building, we out here, thank you, let's go. We out here, but no matter who you are, you never know who you're gonna connect with. The whole point is just to be yourself, because even if you have this crazy zany dude, right, that's my style, but someone could be smooth with oh hey, welcome to Smash Bros. Live. I'd be ooh, so yeah. So be your own Riz, but figure out what your own Riz is, because we're all beautiful people. We are all beautiful people. Even if you don't believe in that right now, have the MC of Super Smash Bros. Live tell you that.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. All right. Now I'm going to pass it over to Chris to talk about the music.
Hello. Again. Yeah, okay. Great. So does anyone know what MD means? Wrong. It's music dictator. An MD holds on to the set list with absolute authority. That is definitely not the team player that you want to work with. Some of you may be music directors. That's the real one. In the room. If you're a music director, you will know very well that kind of strategy, anyone see Whiplash? Does not work. Don't do that. Really, I like to think of the MD's role as being the ship's captain. The idea that a ship's captain is this like all-encompassing authority figure is a common misconception. In fact, pirate ships are democratic. So all of these people are wonderful musicians in their own right, and I am but just one drummer doing my best. So really my role is to make sure that we have someone who's in the room who holds and executes a specific vision with the input and help of the people that you're working with. So you want to make sure that you're holding space and allowing the musicians that you're working with to come up with suggestions and find their passion in the specific genre of music that you're working with. And you really want to make sure that you aren't taking all of this control and credit so that you allow the artistry of the other people that you're working with to really manifest. Specifically towards the idea of choosing tunes and set lists, the first rehearsal that we had was very fun. It was a really good time, and I loved meeting all of y'all. And there were some very ambitious tunes on there. Meta Knight's Revenge was in there, and I distinctly remember, and I'm sure you remember this, after rehearsal or maybe even before, I said, Meta Knight's Revenge, huh? And Robin's like, yeah, maybe, you know. And I'm like, okay. Sight read this. But so it's really important to consider what's achievable, right? Consider the people that you're working with, the personnel that you have, and stay within those boundaries for the vast majority of your set list. But also, when you're ready, add in a little bit of extra spice. Add in something that's a bit of a stretch so that everyone is going to grow together. Meta Knight's Revenge was a thing that we sat on for a while until we really felt ready to do it. One thing that has also been very helpful has been this idea of a certain number of like core tunes that you play regularly and get better and better every week, and then a couple of new additions to your set list. We have been working with this format of doing openers for the two halves of the tournament that we have. And in that, for us specifically, that's kind of our opportunity to show off a little bit, since we don't have to deal with the 3-minute timer that we have set up for our own event. And that allows us to kind of show off and explore tunes a little bit more with the audience and also get them hyped. And going towards that goal of what is success for people who are interested in like the nostalgia of an event like ours, you might want to think about like what's a tune that's a classic, like Bob on Battlefield, or Persona tunes for everyone that loves Persona. And what are like deep cuts, right? Like what are the tunes that people are probably going to be less likely to know, but y'all can play convincingly and get people interested even though they don't know how to sing the melody. Maybe when they come back, they will know how to sing the melody. So that wonderful lead sheet right there is from a little known website known as VG Lead Sheets. If you are working trying to put together a jam or a music event of some kind, excellent resource. Use it, support them. pretty much everything that they do is very, very accurate, and I recommend it to the moon and back. Another additional thing that I recommend to the moon and back is the New York Jams Real Book, put together by Shango over there. Yeah, seriously. It is a collection of tunes put together by people who are in the community. They're playing this music and they're very passionate about it. So a lot of those are excellent resources. And then you can think about arranging your own stuff if you have the chops, or if you don't have the chops, ask someone else to arrange for you. Get lead sheets together. Our strategy at Smash Bros. Live is to have a napkin sketch arrangement. I would show you that document. It's a mess, and it's mostly illegible for people who are not aware of what's going on. But it works for us, right? And the audience doesn't need to see play A and then B and then solos over C, but then go back to B at the end of the solo. And yeah. And lastly, when we're using resources and thinking about set lists, just like always remember to use your other musicians. Museum from Mega Man and Bass. Yeah, Mega Man and Bass. That tune's amazing, and Hari was super into it and really wanted to bring it. And our wonderful bassist kills it on the bass and playing that song. So use people's passions. Two more things. We have when we think about being in the room with rehearsals, we really want to make sure that we're not practicing in that space. The idea should be, if you've never read that tune before, you should be exploring. Do your best to sight read. Do your best to play what you can, and then explore some ideas with your band. You shouldn't practice. As soon as you start having to drill a thing, that should be for a very, very particular reason, because we all have very limited time, right? We want to make sure that in those rehearsals, too, we are thinking about final arrangements and getting together our napkin sketch arrangements, if that's what you end up using. And lastly, I always use a term called live music moments. If you are a musician who plays live, you know what this is. A live music moment is when someone forgot the C section. Oh, this page has a second, or this tune has a second page. How does the melody go again? It's those moments, honestly, in my opinion, I use that term lovingly, live music moments. I don't say live music mistakes, because those are the moments where some of the most personality comes out of the players, right? It's like those moments keep you honest. Those moments where you go, well, I know we worked on this, but being able to kind of to realize that even the best laid plans will fail in the face of the enemy. It takes a lot of courage and passion and confidence to be able to smile through those moments, right? And that all comes with like trying to stay out of your own head. So with what Stan was saying, creating an environment that is inclusive and fun is also going to help the musicians, the people who are on stage, who are trying to trying to put on a phenomenal show. And lastly, just embrace the joy. With whatever you're doing, embrace the joy. Find what you love about your event and really, really lean into it. Those little mistakes are much more fun when you're smiling through it than when you're getting very angry about them.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
I'll throw it
Thanks,
back.
Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, so just for time and so that we can get to more questions, if anyone wants like my run of show template and how to do that, how to like organize your schedule for your event, we can send that to you. Just DM me or all right, let's talk about documenting and recording and proving to the outside world, whoever they are, that it happens. Hari?
Hey everyone. So I just want to go over some stuff quickly. I know a lot of you probably use social media and record your own stuff. Actually, let me just take a poll. How many of you record your own content from live events? Excellent. That's what I want to see. How many of you live in major metropolitan areas? Okay. You're paying way too much rent to not capture these moments that are sacred. When you get up on stage, the vast majority of people on the planet don't have the opportunity, or they don't have the whole plan together to get up on stage. You're doing something incredible by being in that moment in the public eye. And this is a lesson I learned myself. When I first started playing live a couple years ago, I was like, maybe someone will just DM me the video. Who's taking these videos? And then I realized nobody's taking these videos. You have to take your own videos. So, bring a tripod, set it up in the corner, and capture video for yourself. But actually, this is something that I learned. Capture video for other people, because not everyone really knows how to start their social media journey. And we live in a beautiful age right now. There's a lot of criticism of social media, but there are people who have come from basically nowhere and have launched their careers by themselves by creating something that they like. And other people will like it too. And the algorithm will help you if you regularly post and do it in a way that's accessible to you. So one thing that I really think is cool is if you take videos and photos of other people and tag them in it and slowly start building your network, because everyone appreciates that. It can be as simple as a 10-second clip. I mean, you don't have to take a 25-minute video of someone. And a lot of times people don't even have the patience to watch long-form content. We put stuff on YouTube, we edit it, that's great. You'll eventually find fans slowly according to that algorithm. But if you're using TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, 5-second clip of someone while they're soloing looks super cool. What you can do after is just create a library where you just accumulate photos of your event, videos. Maybe after one of your event, just post a reel saying, hey, if you have any content, just DM it to us at this account and compile it. Because one cool thing that I learned recently is even if you don't have like advanced editing skills, these days a lot of the computer programs that we have or on our phones, they do the work for us. CapCut is free. I'm not advertising for them, but I use it a lot because it's like very easy and accessible. And they have a template feature where you could just dump a bunch of stuff in it and hit edit, and it just puts out a really nice looking reel for you. And you can even change the song afterwards if you don't want to use their whatever proprietary song it is. You can add your own music afterwards. It doesn't even need to really be synced up, because a lot of times people just want to see live content. Instagram Live, like the other day when we were playing one of the jam pods, we just fired up Instagram Live. Feel free to use that, because each of these things uses different algorithms. In terms of recording setup, I think like the more stuff you have, the more difficult it is to set it up quickly, and editing also becomes more of a pain. So if you're hired to do video for someone else, it's a completely different thing. But if you're just doing like this guerrilla tactics of, I'm just going to record this, I brought my own tripod here. This is like a full standing tripod. I just put my phone on it. And I also brought this GoPro. I find GoPros to be very, very useful. You can get these little clips and you can clip them anywhere on stage. You can clip it to your guitar, which I think is actually a really cool thing because it gives a completely different perspective. And to edit it, you can just stitch them together on whatever software you like. But these different camera angles add a dynamic aspect to it. And it looks professional, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like watching videos on YouTube and trying to figure it out on the fly. So vertical or horizontal in terms of aspect ratios, I think it's good to mix it up. You want vertical content for TikTok and Instagram, but it's also really nice to videotape your full form videos from our live performances and then have that in horizontal aspect ratio. In terms of my skill sets with media and stuff, I've learned all of this. These are all new things for me. My first videos that I edited were just on iMovie, and I just used the just click and drag template to put the title. But now I'm learning how to do more of the editing, and that's just like how Ezra was talking about before. We share skill sets, I learned a lot of editing techniques from Ezra and, watching other friends and seeing what their content looks like. Over time, in a couple years, you'll just be way better, but just have consistent effort that you put into it, and it'll grow. The other thing is, like Robin was saying earlier, to kind of offload certain responsibilities. Like I love taking photos. I can't be taking photos during my own event. It's just impossible to be doing those kinds of things. You can try to do it, but in between sets, we need to take a break, drink water, socialize with the other people who came to the event to build connections. But hire a photographer. And you don't need to hire like the most expensive photographer in your area. I'm sure someone has a camera that you know. Pay them $25 if you can for their time and effort to come out there, and just have them start taking photos, collect those photos, and they look really good if someone can take a close-up of you while you're playing. It really, really adds something compared to just an iPhone photo. The last few things I want to say is on Instagram, there are these collaboration settings where you can just add different collaborators. It's really amazing because you can have up to like 5 or 6 collaborators, and that increases your outreach, because now all of Robin's network, all of Stan's network, Ezra, Chris's network, they're all seeing the same post, and otherwise it would be really difficult to share this type of thing. So if you make a reel, that will continually stay there and get more views. Stories come and go, so that's more of a transient thing that you just do it for a little bit, but I think the reels and the collaborative posting is actually really helpful. And the last thing is diversify your accounts. Everyone who put all their effort only into TikTok recently were really scared when the ban happened. Any social media company can go down for whatever reason. They can get purchased. They can have a bad financial issue and they have to close. So post on everything and learn how to like batch your content in ways where you can just say, okay, I'm posting all stuff on TikTok and Instagram in vertical format today. And then this weekend, I'm going to edit a YouTube video and I'm going to upload to all the horizontal formats like YouTube, et cetera. And that way your content goes to different accounts, because people are siloed. I try to get people to go from one social media app to another, and they just don't. So if there's a person who only watches YouTube videos, you have to reach them on YouTube. Otherwise, you're not going to get their views or their engagement. Likewise, it's the same for Instagram and TikTok. There's some people who have TikTok and never, ever go to Instagram. So I know it sucks to take more time to do it, but just post on every account. Does anyone have any questions?
Awesome. Okay. So let's keep it moving. I'm going to pass it over to Ezra now to talk about some of the ways that we've been engaging folks and trying to build up hype before the event.
Okay, so there are basically 3 types of content that I revolve around when posting. One of them is memes, the other one is music content, and the other ones are like show posters and ads. So as a show of hands, who in this room is the one who sends your friends 20,000 memes at 4 a.m.? Mm-hmm. On behalf of the friend that does not respond to these, I'm very sorry. However, because of all my friends that do send me 20,000 memes, I use this and I'm like, oh, I can use this as the social media outlet of Smash Bros. Live. So now when I do see memes, I share them, because it's really important for you to keep uploading stuff and like keeping your little icon in everyone's like first 5 things that you see on Instagram. So when you have show announcements, instead of just like the posters, because obviously you want to put and announce when you have a show that to be your primary poster, but like the weeks leading up to it, people start seeing it and then they scroll past. So a really good method I found from this Instagram account that is also a venue in like Bushwick called Market Hotel. I thought they were a meme account because they post great memes, and then you scroll and it's like, oh, here's this DJ set happening. So you post a meme and then you post the poster in the second slide. The second thing is like show the audience what you're doing. Hari records every single part of the rehearsal, audio and video. And you could just post a small little snippet on your story and then repost it repost it as like an actual post. People hear the hook of like museum and they're like, I love that piece. And they're like, I want to come see it. And yeah, it's important to have really cool ads. Our Smash Bros. Live poster is made by one of Robin's friends called Scribbly Sam on Instagram, and it catches the eye. It's yellow, blue, complementary colors. Beautiful. And prizes. So we do a door prize where everyone who comes to Smash Bros. Live gets a chance to win a couple prizes. The best way to go about this is to ask your audience. So I go on Amazon and I'm like, Nintendo merch. I pick 5 things and I'm like, what do you guys want to win? It's important to remember that in the winter, no one's going to want like a beach ball because no one's going to the beach. So everyone likes beanies. People even like beanies in the summer. So beanies as merch is always a good run through. Plushies are really cool. I find that like really niche plushies, like I would love a Mr. Saturn plushie. So like items from Smash Bros. Live, the bomb things, that's really cute. Yeah. Could I go back for a sec? The other thing I forgot to mention when you're posting stories is to post polls and quizzes, ask people who is their main, what's your favorite Smash, have people fight in your stories about what's the best Smash game. And also quizzes like, little trivia things that'll get you so much content and so much engagement from people. And then you can put the occasional thirst trap, but we're not that kind of Smash Bros. So
Awesome. Thanks, Ezra. Yeah, so I just want to open it up now for questions. We're accessible, y'all, so DM us, email us. We're going to stick around, and you can ask specific questions after, too. Y'all have been awesome, but yeah, questions? We have like
Instagram handles real quick for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Follow Smash Bros. Live, and then we also, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start. Sure. My Instagram handle is Chris Beller Music. I am also on Discord often at Super Crispy.
I'm Bass Bow Wow, like little Bow Wow with a bass, and all of our handles are also tagged. We put a lot of stories through our Smash Bros. Live account from MAGFest, so you'll see us there.
I am 3D Space Cadet, like the Windows game that you played when you didn't have internet.
And I'm Sexy Man Stan with an H because Sexy Man Stan was me too, but Instagram didn't like me. So I'm back and they like me again. So thank you. Thank you, Meta.
And I'm Robin Wong Music. But yeah, thanks, y'all. Questions? Shango. Yeah, great question. So it's about managing your relationship with the venue. And, so basically, as you're choosing your stage, you look for a space that has big capacity, maybe a projector, maybe they have food and drinks, maybe it's somewhere where people already go for either video game music, video game events. So in this case, we chose OS NYC because the VGM jams were already happening there. So that seemed like a perfect fit. The thing is that it's really building a relationship. So you're trying to get this place to host you and open up their space to you. But it also means that, you want to respond to them quickly. You want to be clear about what you're looking for in your ask and when you want to schedule. And a lot of times you have to work around their schedule too. So, in this case, if they close for maintenance on the day that our show is supposed to happen, then we either have to move our show or find a different time. And, it's really like, as you're scoping venues and trying to find a place to do your thing, it's always better to start small and then move to a bigger space. And it's always better to walk in person and talk to someone. Emailing contact info at randombar.com is really hard. But if you walk in off hours and just say, hey, this is the event I want to do, for OS, we prepared a pitch deck. It was a few slides. It was nothing fancy. I ran it through AI. But they were really impressed because it means that you've thought through your idea. It means that you have an audience in mind. It means that you're dedicated to making this thing happen. And so the personal touch and like actually getting to know a person and figuring out who your point of contact is in that venue makes a huge difference. So yeah. Other questions?
Just to add
yeah.
to that real quick, in the idea of building a relationship, you want to build a relationship with your team too. At the beginning of this, Robin was very upfront with me that like, hey, I can't pay you for this first one because it's a test run with the venue. So if you can't pay, don't be ashamed. Tell the people you are working with, and if they share your vision, they're gonna wanna be there.
Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. Any other questions before we wrap up? Going once. Going twice.
Send us your questions on
Yep.
Instagram.
I had to remember it. If you were trying to build a community in a place that hasn't really had that kind of community already established, sort of bringing your interest to something a little more local, or trying to build a community that is relatively new, that's sort of sparse and like there's loose connections, but it's hard to bring everyone together. Do you have any advice for sort of extending the community connection or something that is a new interest?
Awesome. Yeah. So the question was about what do you do if there isn't already a strong community that is either for the specific thing that you're going for or in general in your area? And there are a few ways to think about this. One is adjacency. So maybe there isn't a video game music scene in your area, but maybe there is a game shop that has, Friday Night Magic, and maybe there are costume stores that host events, or So one thing is, you just map out, you take your thing, and then you draw connections to everything adjacent to it, and see, if you're trying to do a nerdy dance rave, maybe you just hit up all of the other dance communities. Maybe you hit up, anything that is closely related to the thing you're doing. The MAGFest Discord is also another great place to start because people are coming from all over. And so even if you're in a small town and they're 3 towns over, they may still be down to collaborate and drive over. And so it's another great place to just ask around. Other thoughts?
Subreddits with your specific town is a great way to reach out to your local community.
Yeah, please.
One of the things that I've seen success in is teaming up with local conventions.
Yeah.
The small, medium-sized ones, a lot of times, because they're also very grassroots, they're starving for that type of something. So even if you can't get in the door with official after party or something involved with a convention at the offsite, even getting their blessing to do an unofficial thing works. There's a convention that I did a karaoke night for them. We actually were lucky enough to get it as the official, which was awesome because not only was our community that we're already built blasting it out there, but the convention social media was also saying, hey, there's this karaoke night going on after the convention closes Friday night. So it helped.
Awesome. Thanks.
And I'll say the more niche that your event is, the harder it will be to start it up, right? And if you're measuring your success in the number of people who walk in the door, and you have a more niche or something that you're particularly passionate about that you're not finding in your area, you got to realize that it's going to take some time for you to find that community. And there's people there, and you might want to broaden it a little bit and then go and get into a slightly more niche space as you go. But you want to make sure your audience should be the people that are most likely to show up, right? On some level.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. We really appreciate all of you for coming out and sticking around. If you have specific questions or want to talk more, just we'll hang out and you can chat. But thank you all.